All right, so we're going live right now. It's the first episode of the fifth quarter show, and just going to introduce ourselves, get into a few topics, and introduce myself. My name is Wood, and I'm here with my co-host Jerome. Once again, it's the fifth quarter show, sports and entertainment. Um, Introduce yourself, man. Get on here, jump on in.
Hey, what's going on? My name is Jerome, but you can call me Jake for short. And like my co-host or Wood said that we're just gonna talk some sports and entertainment, but even to go further, we're gonna make history.
Right. That's what I'm in here for. Uh, just trying to get off the sidelines for real. So, not trying to be perfect today. We're going to keep it real casual. We sitting in here and just going to go in right now. So, I'm going to run down a list of what we got coming up for tonight. We got probably 7 to 8 different sports topics. Of course, looking at the NFL, NBA, a little bit of boxing update from as far as what we know and what we can gather, and then we'll hit on a couple of entertainment things. So we're gonna go with a back and forth. Jay feel comfortable to jump in. Just like we at the barbershop or if we at each other's cubicle or we standing out in the parking lot, just feel free to get on in there.
Yes, sir.
The first topic for me, it looks like the Northeast Ohio game, the Cleveland Cavaliers. It looks like they're putting it together here. So, what you think? I think right now they're at like the fifth, fourth slot, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I think they like number five.
Number 5.
Yes, sir.
So, what's your thoughts on it? You think they didn't had a couple of big wins the last couple nights? It's ever since I think LeBron went to the. What game was he at? The Cowboys? No, he was at the national championship, right?
Yes, sir.
And they were worried about him being away from the team and whether or not it was special treatment. So ever since he came back from that 2-week hiatus that he had, the team's been on fire. So what you thinking, man?
Yeah, man. I think that when LeBron came back from that little break and all, going to the game, and also I think he went down to Miami to get some rehab. That really helped him out. But I'm just gonna keep it real with you, Wood. Forget all that stuff. It's about that big man they got in the middle now. I think they got the big man in the middle, and that's what they was really lacking.
Moskov?
Yeah, man. Oh yeah, he's doing a big thing for them in the middle because he's carving up things. I'm not saying he's a Matumbo or anybody, but
Right.
he's in there just taking up space.
Well, what about now? Kyrie went off with the double nickel. He hit the 55. I think he hit maybe a late game 3 to. I don't think it was a buzzer beater to win the game, but I think it was it secured the game because I think Lillard might have had an opportunity to either tie it or get the win. But he had the 30. I mean, he had the 55-point game, and then he also had the. I think the night before he had 38, and LeBron had 32. And then I think Love has been pumping in around the mid-teens, maybe even getting to 20. So I mean I can see that Mozkov is a good thing, and you're gonna need that definitely. But it just looks like the two out front. I mean, it looks like it's gonna start there, and that might carry them through.
Yeah. Well. If you even look at when Kyrie plays and LeBron is like maybe injured or sitting out a game, it looks like he's like, man, thank you God, I can finally do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? I can get off 30 shots or 20 shots and really take the game over. So I think they'll do big things this year.
So did you think? Okay, so now we've had. I think I saw Shumpert checked in last night. I'm not up on how many minutes he logged and whatnot, but I've been hearing that the best move would be to move Shumpert into the starting lineup, sit Jr. down, let him come off the bench, and everybody else is just gonna pretty much figure out their roles. So you think that the roster move with sending waiters away, you think all that's gonna pay dividends or what?
Man, anytime I can get rid of waiters, and not say get rid of, but anytime I can get rid of waiters and bring in Shumpert and Jr., I mean that's a win in my book. I mean I'm not having anything against waiters, but it looks like without him being there, they're rolling. and even to think about even switching up the lineup and bringing Shumpert in. I'm not doing anything right now, Reg. I'm sorry, Mr. Wood. I'm not doing anything right now because he's I think they're on what 8 or 9 wins in a row.
Right.
So I'm just gonna keep rolling with it.
I still have some concerns out there about Love. But we got to get through this All-Star game and let them come back and continue to gel. It looks like, I tell you one thing, it looks like the fire is off of Coach Black. It looked like they took him off. It looked like they took the skillet off the eye for him because he was out of there about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, done deal for him. But looks like you said, they're buying into a system a little bit more. But even what you said earlier, I think it's just because of the players they have on the team, they're so superior than some of the guys they're playing against. They're just willing themselves to victory.
Okay. Now I don't want to jump down too far in the the talking points. We're gonna kind of step on one of them. But okay, so if they're 5 and right now, our ATL Hawks are number 1. Oh, okay. My bad. I was getting ready to make a bogus point because 8 would be 1, and so I was my bad. I was thinking there'd be a Hawks Cavs matchup, but that wouldn't happen that soon. So okay, so we'll move along. My bad. I'm glad I saved myself. So what's your thoughts, man? This is my second point. What's your thoughts on the Golden State Warriors, and the Splash Brothers?
The Golden State Warriors, man. I don't know if they're mentally tough enough to make a deep run in the playoffs. I think they'll continue to do well in the regular season, but once you get to the playoffs, those same touch fouls, they don't get called. And also they're kind of a jump shooting team, and I just really believe that some of that stuff, you live by it. You shoot a bunch of jump shots and that end up killing you, down when it comes to playoff time.
I'm with you. I've been saying it, and I love the team. I mean, I'm as a more of a college basketball fan than an NBA guy. I look and smile when I see that Steph has been what he's been able to do in his 3 or 4 years in the league. Arguably, I mean, everybody kind of looked at him sideways when he said that he was the best offensive player, even over LeBron going into this season. But I can't be more happy than to sit around and watch that this cat came from Davidson, had the 2 good years in the NCAA tournament. It was great theater. It was very interesting. I mean, the boy was a threat. He was single-handedly taking Davidson, I think they might have won 2 games one year. But anyway, what was exciting was his conference tourney run that he had those couple of years. So moving forward to now, the Splash Brothers, Klay Thompson had the big 37-point quarter, which was the greatest in NBA history. But I'm with you. You notice, like you said, I think you was trying to get to you live by the 3, die by the 3 is kind of their makeup. So my question is, can Draymond Green, is he enough to be that it factor or that glue? I mean, what's your thoughts, man?
And the thing about it is, I'm so glad you mentioned Draymond Green. I mean, Draymond Green is what you call a basketball player. That's like, hey, we had one of the parks in the hood, and be like, hey, I got him, but I guarantee you Draymond Green is going to go get picked first every time because he's just a true winner. And honestly, I think he got snubbed for the All-Star. I think he should have made the All-Star game.
This year?
Oh, definitely. Because if you look at his when he's on the court, I think he's in the top 3 in the NBA point differential, when he's off the court. So he just does so much for his team, man. He can guard any position 1 through 5. I mean, and he passes the ball extremely well. And what's really going to make him, to me, going to get a big payday once his contract is up is he can shoot the 3 consistently now. And so he's just a viable, part of that team.
You think he's in the mid-40s 3-point or?
I think he's shooting around 40%, but the thing about his threes that it'll really catch you by surprise is the timeliness of some of the threes. when the shot clock going down, and like I said, those guys do a lot of wild things out there in Golden State. But when they have to actually, let the shot clock get ran down and looking for somebody to hit a big shot, Draymond Green is one of those guys to get that big shot or out or also get that big offensive rebound to keep you with another possession.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm a big. Over the years, Michigan had. I'm gonna let y'all know we're big Michigan fans. Pretty much in the college ranks. But before Michigan came out with the big years when they had Burt and Hardaway Jr., Little Hardaway, we'll go Little Hardaway. Before we had that, and they also had GR3. Before that big run, I had a moment where I switched over and had to keep an eye on that green and white team over there at East Lansing. I'm not even gonna lie. So I have come around to respecting Draymond. Plus, he's what 3-4 year guy as a Spartan.
Yes, sir, all day.
So I can't hate on them. Like I said, the Golden State Warriors is probably the best. If they're not the best team, they're the best story going because I think it goes back to smart drafting. It kind of goes back to the 80s, late 80s and 90s when teams could build through the draft. When you actually tuned in to who your team picked in that second round. We're down to the point now. We draft 3 to 5 players and we done with the draft. It's time to go hit the club or hit the wing spot and get your night together. So I'm glad of everything that's going on with Golden State. So they got put out in the first round last year, right?
Yes, sir.
I don't think it's possible in the NBA that you can go in your first. I don't think you can go to your first place in the postseason and be successful the first year. So I would expect, I would predict that they get through the first round this year. I would even probably tab them to get to the Western Conference Finals. But I just can't see that they get to the Western Conference Finals for the first time and that you're going to take out either San Antonio, LA Clippers, maybe. Who else is in there? Who else we got out west?
Memphis is doing big things.
Memphis is another good thing. We might not. I don't want to get off the point. So that's my basic take on Golden State Warriors. Is great team, great story. Kerr's done his thing, but I'm just saying I don't believe a team can either get. I don't think that you can get to that place for the first time, be it in the Western Conference Finals or the Finals, and get that chip. I just don't believe it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with you on that also, but I'm telling you, Wood, I'm gonna be a hater here, man, and I don't really want Golden State to do make any noise because the way that they did, Mark Jackson. That's a whole nother topic, man. But the way that they did Mark Jackson.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Shipped him off, and now Kerr is the best thing since sliced bread. I mean, I don't know about that.
I'm with you. You know what? I think you just tore the whole. I need to just scrap all my notes. That's and all my brilliant thinking on getting someplace for the first time. We can take it all back to last year, and the way that Coach Jackson, Mark Jackson, there goes that man again. That was dirty, man. It was dirty.
Oh man, it was so bad, man. And the thing about it is, nobody's talking about it, Wood.
they done moved on. He's just a commentator. It's like they got the band back together, and they just they got my man Van Gundy and him. They back. You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh man, it's crazy, man. But and can the Warriors go all the way? Yes, they can go all the way. They have the talent to do it, but do I want them to do it? No. And I think since they're not tough enough, they won't do it.
Yeah, and to finish off seriously, back to some real basketball analysis or thinking. I don't see that glue player. The Birdman down in Miami. I hate to even give that cat credit, but what's the big man down for San Antonio with the young gray with the soft body? About 6'9", 6'10".
Boris
Boris Diaw. I don't see them with the Diaw. I just don't see that. I don't see that Dennis Rodman player. I don't see going back Oakley. I don't see a Oakley. I don't see a Robert Ory. I don't see that intangible type player that you need, that most of the teams need. Even my man down in Miami with the prison braids. Just got the Caesar this year.
Haslam.
Has what they call him? Q.
They
Q
call him
UD.
Been in the league too long.
Right.
Asking.
UD. That's what they call him, is UD. So yeah, man, that's my whole take. Is like I'll go back and reiterate my serious points. I just don't see you getting to those elite playoff spots deep in the playoffs. I don't see you getting there the first time and getting a victory. OKC wasn't able to do it when they got to the finals versus Miami. It was their first time there, and I think, like I said, that's just my point. Is that, and then secondly, I don't see them having that glue player to truly pull off winning it. But if they do, so be it. A shout out to Steve Kerr.
Yeah, man. We'll see, man. I'm looking at the West right now, and when we have to say Memphis with excitement, they Golden State make some noise, because if the season ended today, it would be a Golden State and Phoenix matchup. I think Golden State would be heavily favored in that matchup. Then I guess they would play the 4 and the 5, and that'll be your Portland and the Clippers. And I believe the Clippers handled Golden State last year, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so.
So let's see what you can do. You got to get over that hump, I mean, I think the Clippers and Golden State have had a little rivalry. I know they, pick up a bunch of technicals. So if the season ended today, that would be a second round matchup. And I don't think LA Clippers would be nervous to not have the home court advantage in that series. So we'll see.
Let me ask you though. The Clippers, have they squandered an opportunity to truly get from underneath the shadow of the Lakers, and they shared the home gym? They've had a deep team the last few years. They've had that glue player. They've had Crawford coming off the bench, probably one of the NBA's all-time 6 men. But they've just had all this depth, credible pros at every position. Blake's come along. Blake's, he's regularly checking in with 23, 25, 26 points. They don't have a big man that can face the basket in DeAndre. But I just look at the Clippers and I see people that I know and that I recognize, but the win hasn't been there yet. So do you think that team is going to break up before ever finishing out what, by all accounts, we thought should have happened with them getting a ring?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to end in a happy ending per se for them, because in playoff timing you can have all these great pieces and all these great players, but you got to have maybe a player consistently go for that 30 points in those 4 wins. You got to have somebody who's going to get you 30, 35 points a game in 4 wins, and I think that's how you get it done, and I just don't see them having that person.
Talk about the Clippers, right?
The Clippers, I'm sorry. Unless you got the San Antonio Spurs formula, but I mean they got Popovich, so that's a whole nother level.
Right.
But I just don't see the Clippers getting it done, actually claiming a title.
Yeah, I think like you said right now, I'm looking at it right now. Portland would be matched up with LA with the Clippers. They actually had the same record right now. To be honest with you, to your point, I mean, I love CP3's game. I love the little big man, point guard. But like you said, I can't see CP3 getting you 28, 27 for 4 games. And I think that is the key thing, is they don't have that swing player, that key guy. that's 6'5" and above that can get you to that 27 to 32 points for 4 games. So yeah, I'm not big on them. I just want to hit on one thing quickly before we move on because you mentioned something and kind of caught my ear. But Phoenix would be facing Golden State in that first round. Any thoughts on Phoenix, man? I caught them on TV, I think 1 or 2 nights this week, and it's a different looking team because they got a lot of college players we know. Obviously, they got the Morris brothers. And you know me, one thing through the run of whatever this program is gonna be, I'm always gonna be an underdog guy. I've been telling you that for years. I pick some bums, and I wouldn't put Phoenix in bum category. But going back to when we was coming up in high school, Phoenix was a team that was there every year, and it just was good to see them kind of having some pieces. They re-signed. The guard they re-signed this year from Kentucky. Bledsoe. They got Bledsoe. It's a great story with the twins on the team. They got the Euro point guard. I think he's averaging about 17. I don't know, man. I guess I'm just rambling on because it's just good to see them back on the scene. What's your thoughts on them?
I don't know, man. I'm gonna make a bold prediction here. And you can crucify me. I don't see Phoenix making the playoffs, man. I really believe that. I don't know why I believe in these guys, but I think OKC will get that final spot in the East.
Okay.
I really do, man. I just think that they have too much star power. I mean, if they can stay healthy, I think they will get back into the playoffs and maybe face off with the Golden State Warriors.
Okay. So not a lot to do about a whole lot in Phoenix. Maybe I just like the orange uniforms, man. That might have been it. Ain't
nothing wrong with that because we all love Phoenix back when he had what was that Kevin Johnson,
KJ, Thunder Dan, Hornacek was there for a while.
Yeah, Sabalas.
Right, Cedric. So I don't know. It was just I'm always looking for new faces, so it's just a good story that they can turn it around and. Like I said, they got a young team, but I think they are missing that truly elite player. But you just mentioned, actually, was a good segue into our next topic, which is, can the Oklahoma City Thunder, can they put it together and get back in the top 8 in the West to make it into the playoffs?
Yeah, right now we have, I think Oklahoma City is 4 games behind the Phoenix Suns, and but even before they catch Phoenix, they have to catch New Orleans, who they're 1.5 games behind. It's going to take them to maybe go on that 8 to 10 game winning streak to really put some heat on those guys. But I really think that they can get back there. Oklahoma City is really strange to me because they're not playing with that same defensive mentality that they're used to.
I can't put a finger on it. I don't know if things kind of started and then fizzled a bit when KD came back and then had to miss a stretch of games because of, I think he had an ankle injury. So, maybe they thought the cavalry came and they could get to rolling. And then I thought when KD came back in, he jumped right back in with like a high 20-some point, almost 30-point game. And then he was gone for another stretch of games. So I don't know if it's that. I don't know what's missing there right now. Now they brought your boy. We mentioned at the top of the show. They brought Waiters in. I don't know. Waiters seemed like a hard-headed guy, man. He seems like a hard-headed brother.
Yeah, he is, man. I mean, the thing about Waiters, if you had the opportunity to watch the OKC and Cleveland game the other night, it's like, okay, I understand you got traded from Cleveland, but the guy shoots just every single time he touches the ball. It's like, come on, man, just swing the ball around. It'll come back to you, but he doesn't have a good high basketball IQ at all, in my opinion.
And I try to be, because I do like Syracuse. I'm a big fan of the Syracuse Orange in most years. They're not making a lot of noise right now this season, but I always follow Syracuse from the Big East days. But it's hard to kind of maybe get in Waiter's face to kind of rein him in, because here's a guy that was a pretty much a six man through his collegiate career, right?
Yep.
And then gets drafted in the top 5, I believe, number 3 or something, to Cleveland.
Right.
So maybe his head is just swollen. Like, look, I'm not even supposed to be here. I ain't even supposed to be here. So I have free license to do what I want to do. But I don't know, man. It's something going on here. But back to OKC. So they still have Reggie Jackson as the backup, right?
Yep.
One great thing that I love about OKC is drafting. I mean, they got guys. I saw some new cats on there the other night. I don't even know who they were, but it looks like these players had taken playing time away from Jeremy Lamb. And like I said, I'm a Big East guy, so I kept an eye on Lamb coming out of UConn. And I thought Lamb made some strides last year, but now I turn around and, like I said, when I was watching the game the other night, it was a new 3-man out there, and I'm like, damn. Then they were able to find the New Zealander, who is pretty active big. I don't think he's with the jump shot game, but I mean he's very active, very athletic, tall. I'm seeing him getting dunks. I'm seeing him run the court, so I like him. Everything to me in OKC points to the fact that Scott Brooks has been in place about 2 years too long.
Right. Exactly.
2 years too long.
Exactly, man. I'm just looking and thinking about the game they had the other night when they played the New York Knicks. It's like, okay, how in the world do you let the New York Knicks beat you? I understand Kevin Durant didn't play, but you cannot lose to the Knicks. I mean, you let, I think, Carmelo Anthony go off for 30-something points. I mean, they don't have anybody else. So all I'm going to do is just double team, bring a double team to Carmelo Anthony and make somebody else beat you. But that's a game that you lose. So I don't understand why they just don't buckle down and play smart defense. I mean, you got Westbrook. He probably shot the ball 30, 40 times. Deion Waiters .10. Westbrook and Deion Waiters, the same kind of player. And it's frustrating. And I don't know if it's all on Scott Brooks's hand, but sometimes the players just got to play better ball.
I will give you credit. Dang, they got Mitch McGary on the roster.
Yes, sir.
They have Perry Jones from Baylor. Such a disappointment. Serge is on there. They still got Nick Collison. Steven Adams is the New Zealander guy.
Yep.
I just see a lot of talent on here, man, and I'm sorry. Now, I told you last year, the Russell Westbrook show. I can't say that it'd be a good idea to ever split up those two guys, KD and Russell Westbrook. And I actually saw a documentary with KD. I don't even know what it was, but it was them two. Well, it was KD's documentary, but they showed them working out together in the offseason, running up some hill. And when I watched the two interact with each other, they really genuinely look like decent friends. So I can't see you ever breaking them up. Really, like I said, the only thing, but to finish my point, Russell's out of control stuff that he does during the games and the banging on the chest and getting all emotional and diving for loose balls, trying to dunk on 3 people. I've told you for 3 years now, I just feel like he's too reckless for winning big time basketball. And for some reason, it just seems like Scotty Brooks hasn't been able to rein that in. And then KD, he's not the most get in your face guy either. I think the game is easy for KD, so he just like, look, when the ball does find its way over to me, I'm going to get it and do what I need to do. So I just don't know if they can ever overcome that Mad Max, whirling dervish, Tasmanian devil style of play that Russ brings to the game.
let me ask you this question, Wood. I'm gonna pose this question to you. Did OKC get rid of the wrong player? Should OKC have kept Harden and let Westbrook go?
With the emergence of Reggie Jackson, you right on time with that. Harden seems more impressionable. Like he can be, you can mold him and get him. Like now, he's trying to play some defense this year because he had the experience with USA basketball, and now he's actually applying himself. Um, it's just having a kind of a renaissance year for himself in the league. So, to your point, I feel like, and I don't know. I mean, it seems like the East is the big time point guard side of the map. I mean, yeah, side of the map, right? And in the West, you've always needed like a passing point guard, and it was the wings kind of did all the work. So I'm with you. I think Reggie Jackson would. Reggie Jackson to me takes care of the ball. He takes care of the ball. 3 minutes to go in the first half and 3 minutes left in the second half. He takes care of the rock, and that's what your point guard needs to do.
Yeah, I agree totally, man. Russell Westbrook needs to give a little bit what he has to Chris Paul, and Chris Paul needs to give a little bit what he has to Russell Westbrook.
Perfect exchange.
I just don't understand, I mean, Russ, okay, we have like 2 minutes left. The game is tied. The other team just missed a shot. You go on a fast break, you push it in transition, and you pull up for a three. Why? I mean, why not set up the offense? Why not run some plays, run some time off the clock, and get the ball to the best person on the team, which is Kevin Durant. And I know people say, well, we're not going to hold back Russell Westbrook. I mean, he's been doing that for years. Some of those shots he makes, they're big shots, but it's not good, fundamentally sound basketball.
Situational basketball. Russ is oblivious to situational basketball. To your point, man, I don't want to, because we at the 32-minute mark, and we're trying to keep it a little short and sweet. Now, I do want to pose this before we move on. We kind of going to group one thing together, but before with Urban's positioning that team the way that he has, I think that's why Harbaugh is now in Michigan, because Michigan is largely irrelevant right now on the college football. Even though we had the winningest program in history, we got the big house. The competition during the week and in the off season and the depth, we don't even compare to the Buckeyes right now. So I'm with you, man. I mean, Urban has come in there and turned stuff up, and we got to get it took him being in there. Like I said, I think I really believe that's why Harbaugh is back in Ann Arbor, and we got shows coming up on that. We'll get back more into that. We got, it looks like 3 or 4 more topics to go through. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this next one because we've already kind of addressed it. NBA All-Star Game, you think fans should be choosing the starters?
No, I think it should be like is it like football where it's like a portion or percentage from the fans, the coaches, and the players? Is that how the NFL football they do the Pro Bowl?
Yeah,
I think it's something like that. I just don't think that the fans should have all the power when it comes to the starters, but I guess the fans want to see their favorite players out there competing, but it's just not healthy, man, for the system. Or maybe even what you mentioned earlier, we need to maybe open it up in that, not a Western Conference and an Eastern Conference, because it's a lot of players out there that are not getting selected or playing in the All-Star game because either the fan chose them or because they're in a certain conference. It's just not fair to me.
I'm with you. I tried to have a Colin Cowherd type of thought yesterday on this, not intentionally to like have a bigger thought than you, but just to really Excuse me. And actually, while you were talking, something just popped in my head. I had a vision of something. Are All-Star games in general, is it just about the greatest show ever? Week 2, she put a post out there, the greatest show ever. And that kind of disturbed me because I can't put it in that stratosphere. I can't put it that high up there. But I mean, I'm almost 40 and maybe I'm a little more discerning. But I will say this. Empire seems to be geared towards telling multiple stories. You know, obviously each son has his own house and, you know, and what he has going on. The rapper is kind of irritating me a little bit. And then the corporate dude, Andre, him and his wife, they freaky. You know, they freaky and they got some stuff going on, and maybe they're addressing mental illnesses and whatnot with his character. But I'm just saying, you know, it's more family geared. Maybe it's like Dynasty in Dallas, where we had all of this stuff is intentionally out there to give the show some breath. The only thing, and this is just Woods, BS. But this damn, and I done told you about this, Jay. This damn IPO and a hip hop label being on the stock market, that's a little Tyler Perry-ish. That's a little TPS right there.
Well, you know you need a little bit of that TP in you.
Yeah, I'm a little shocked that detail has made it through this long, but it looks like, this week, my man, what's my man that was in New Jack City? Judd Nelson. Judd Nelson been messing with the brothers for a minute, hasn't he?
He down with the swirl.
Getting away from the breakfast clubs and whatnot. But anyway, he's coming in and made his threat to go public with how Lucius Lyons got the money for the seed money for the company. So personally, it's a little foolish to me that they would put that around that. But other than that, like I said, to your point, Terrence Howard has done a pretty good job. I think the flashbacks have really given him a little range between that usual Terrence Howard that we see. It's kind of done that, and then it's kind of it's shedding light on the background of it. Like you did mention, the ratings have been great and they've held steady. The other thing was the ratings held steady. Oh, and they already got renewed for season 2. So, I can't hate on it. I'm a keep tuning in. My wife hasn't bought into it, so we're not on the couch watching it like Power, but she didn't like Power at first. And then getting on the Power, in contrast, Power stayed primarily around Ghost. And I got a look. And it did talk about his wife, I think it's Tasha, and then but I told my barber last night, and then I'm going to get off of this. The thing that's getting me with Power, which kind of got me with The Wire, it seems like those types of shows don't know if they're going to get that second and third season. So we meet these main characters at a certain point, and they are as big as they are because they have this code that they live by. They know the way that they handle their business, and they're slick, and they're successful at what they do. But as soon as we get to meet them, they start doing a lot of dumb-ish that puts them in, puts their organizations in jeopardy. And I just don't like what they're doing with Tommy on Power.
On Power? Yeah, man, the thing about it is, and we maybe can talk about this more next week, but you mentioned urban America, so we're speaking about maybe some, African Americans, Hispanics, and whatever it may be.
Brown people.
There we go. Why, and maybe this is next week's topic, why are our shows always geared to like so much negativity? Why is Power a show that we talk about so much and it's about a drug dealer?